I will try, Geek. It's more of me trying to entertain you. Not even entertain. I just like talk at you. Boom. The music of Pedro Macho. I'm not sure why I said his name like that. That's just what happened. Boom. Hey. How's everyone doing today? Hope you're good. If you would like to ask a question about anything, whether it be about me or my channel or Star Citizen or Apex Legends or anything really about the meaning of life, anything, put question in brackets in front of it and I will try and pick it out from chat during the stream. Because that's basically what these streams are for. They're for me to chat to people about whatever. Obviously, with more of a view on Star Citizen, that makes more sense, doesn't it? Because that's effectively what I've specialised my working life in now. I hope everyone is doing well. I will go over some updates today. We'll have a look at the Valentine's Day sale. We'll have a look at the Hornet HeartSeeker. We'll look at the Argo SRV, the search and rescue vehicle. The new concept sale, which will be going live properly later today. It is already on pre-sale for concierge. There is a phone call, which I will be right back. Bear with me 1 second, just in case it's something about my father. I'm coming. Am I coming? I'm coming back. Don't go. Back. Hello. Sorry. Apologies. Yes, that was the hospital. There was the mother about my father. So I'll go over it real quick now, but I suspect I'll go over it towards the end of the stream again as well. My dad had lung cancer. He's had an operation to remove it, which has gone successful. The actual operation, they now need to biopsy the cancer to see if it's spread. Hopefully it hasn't. Even if it has, then hopefully you'll have a good quality of life and have to deal with it. But we'll deal with stuff as and when we know. That was just my mother saying they're at the hospital at the moment. He's going to be discharged today. He had the operation like 2 or 3 days ago, so it's pretty quick. They've discharged him. They're just waiting to get all of his medication from the pharmacy, and there's a lot of people in the hospital at the moment. The National Health Service, amazing, because it allows people to get healthcare. So, but it's overcrowded typically in certain areas. But yeah, it's all gone well as it possibly could have at this stage, and I'll update people as and when we know more. But I'm sure it'll go okay. Well, I hope it'll go okay, and we'll deal with it, whatever. Yeah, sorry about that. I just obviously want to make sure I'm there. I've cooked my parents' food and got it all ready for them and things for when they get home. But I hope everyone is doing okay. What was I talking about? Oh yes, so the Argo SRV, search and rescue vehicle. That's the new concept ship, which is going to be quite exciting, I think. It's the tugboat that we knew we were probably going to get. That the Crucible basically was going to be. So they wanted a tugboat in game. They were going to have the Crucible as the tugboat, but the Crucible evolved into this repair ship, which is what it is now. But they went, oh, we probably still want a tugboat, maybe. So they've got the Argo SRV, which is a tractor beam orientated tugboat. However, it can also be used to aid in salvage. It can be used to aid in mining. It's very utility orientated tractor beam gameplay ship. Yeah, I was very, very excited about that. It will be able to quantum travel. They haven't said that it will be able to, but it will be able to, because you're supposed to respond to service beacons and stuff like that. So I'll put my reputation on the line. You know what I mean? We know it's going to be able to quantum travel. It'd be ridiculous if it couldn't. But yeah, it's supposed to be able to carry ships up to the size of a Cutlass, potentially actually up to the size of a Constellation, if the Constellation hasn't got like too much cargo on it by itself. And it's a single person ship itself as well. But you can get loads of these working together to pick up bigger ships. And apparently you can bunch smaller vehicles together and smaller items together to take in a single load. It doesn't have to be just a single item. They can bunch a load together. But yes, cool looking ship. Let me actually bring it up on screen so we can talk a little tiny bit more about it. So it's on pre-sale at the moment. For those of you who have access to that pre-sale, you can go there and have a look. On my YouTube channel, you can see a video from today and yesterday about what we know about the Argos so far. They did feature it a little bit in around the verse. But it's a bit smaller than a Cutlass. It's got these interesting long little arms with tractor beam plates on them, so it can tractor things in. I quite like. Cool ship, mainly because it fills a hole that we sort of needed. I mean, we knew that there was going to be tractor beam gameplay to a certain extent, and we've sort of seen very rough guesstimates of how that will work with, like, I think they showed a Caterpillar at one point with its tractor beam, and they were moving items around just with it, like it being going, and it's like, oh, this is sort of ish how tractor beams will kind of work. But now this is sort of like the gold standard for tractor beam gameplay. And other ships will have tractor beams. It's just the Argo SRV. Oh, come on. It's sort of like entirely focused on that. I think it's cool. It's a cool looking ship. It's a cool idea for a ship. And it's a ship that certainly fills the hole that we expected. I think one of the last of the ships that was sort of like semi-requested and suggested was a mine-laying ship. So we might see a mine layer at some point as well. Also, for Valentine's Day, and I don't know when this sale ends, but there is a Valentine's sale on at the moment, and there are some ships, well, vehicles available, 85X, the Cyclone RC, but also a variant, a new loadout for the Super Hornet. So this is an F7CM Super Hornet. This is the HeartSeeker loadout. And if you get on Warbond, it does actually have lifetime insurance, which is interesting. It's $100 much is it without VAT? And minus 20%. $175? Yeah, 170. It's $175 on Warbond. And I'm not going to upgrade my Saber to one. I think I have a Super Hornet, and I might upgrade my Super Hornet to one just because it has a bit of more of a BM skin. So it's got this picture of a lady space girl on it and my Valentine. And it's sort of like a little bit like World War II-esque, painted on drawings and things, which I kind of quite like. I wish there was a bit more going on with it. I wish they had made it a bit, I don't know why I can't see that picture there, a bit more red, actually. Like that. Got red accents on it, but I was hoping that maybe like a red nose and, I don't know. Happy to buy a skin if it's a little bit of a BM skin. Like I want to be using my Snarkit and Dragonfly where I can, just to sort of like ride past people and go lol. But yeah, cool. I'm cool with them doing silly loadouts and things. Lots of bearing laser cannons on this one. It's got a size 4 one as a fixed gun instead of the ball turret, and then it's got 3 size 3s on its nose and wings. So it's a solid loadout. We'll have to see exactly how that balances out with the new flight model, to be honest, though. It's got a couple of better components than the standard Super Hornet. It's got a better power plant. It's a competition-grade power plant rather than the military one, which does actually perform better in the game at the moment. And it's got 2 B-grade military shields rather than the C-grade ones, I believe. So it's better in that. So it's just got a better stock loadout, depending on what you're into, I suppose. But yeah, I think it's cool to see how it works in the new flight model before I start giving people meta advice and, oh, this fighter is better than this one, because I have no idea. Oh my god, someone just chucked a load of money at me. Is that you, Robert? Is that you? You, isn't it? Robert Johnson, his donation, even though I don't get a mention when you thank your big donators. It's not my fault being in the EU. The pound's so strong. I'm so sorry, Robert. I did give a big shout out to a load of long-term Patreons and things, and I should have mentioned you. Robert Johnson, constantly giving huge amounts of money when I stream. Thank you so much. You are in my heart. You're my Princess Diana, Robert Johnson. You're my Queen of Hearts. Thank you, very much appreciated. And Dalamars with the bits as well. Not 100 bits. He's just given the 1,000 billion New Zealand dollar. I mean, it's probably stronger than the pound, the New Zealand dollar now, isn't it? But thank you so much. I love your face. That's very much appreciated. It was worth the $15 extra to upgrade my Super Hornet, particularly with its special mount point for Valentine's Day. Oh, you want to get onto its mounting point? Oh, sexy. Yes, I think for some people it'll be worth it. It depends on how much you value chips, how much spare disposable income you have, and how much you want to get stuff in game rather than buy it before. Like, I am a sucker for micro and macro transactions, but I can justify them a lot more in Star Citizen for myself personally because I cover the game and I go like, well, I'm going to be playing this game for 10 years plus and covering it, so I can go, well, yeah, I'll buy myself an extra special Hornet. It's Valentine's Day. take this off. Oh my god. Yeah. Sorry for any offense caused. Hanneth.com has really subbed. Thank you very much for the sub. 21 months. Lifetime insurance, pineapples for everyone. What? Have I missed something? What about pineapples? Oh, I'm getting a display up on my wall soon with... Because people have sent me lots and lots of the Star Citizen merchandise from all the different events. So like Games Comms and Citizen Comms and all the different badges that CIG have done there. And I've got a load of different organizational ribbons. So I'm going to get some different pins and things up to go with that as well. That's an avocado. But if anyone wants me to display that organization patch or ribbon on a display behind me, then I am happy to do that. As long as they're not so offensive in the patch that it'll get a video taken down. As long as they're not that bad, that's good. If they're org logo or whatever, happy to chuck it in a display behind me. And I'm going to get all these sort of like a ribbon and patch sort of display that some military people might have. I think we've got one in the hangars, in fact. So I'm going to be doing that. I do like turtles. I like turtles. I can't do it like as well as Twerk does it. Bam. How long is the HeartSeeker on sale for? I don't know. I think I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't say. I would expect for at least the weekend, potentially as long as the concept sale is for the Argo SRV. I forgot what it was called then. Search and rescue vehicle. And that sale, the Argo SRV, is on sale until the 4th of March. I just had to check. So, yeah, why not? Probably until then, I'll find out. Yeah, the SRV can do quantum travel. I know people are saying almost definitely because they haven't said it can do quantum travel, but it can. I mean, it would make the ship redundant and ridiculous if it couldn't. It's a proper tow ship. It needs to be able to do quantum travel. Hey, Bored, hope you're well and your father's doing okay. Yep, he's doing the best he possibly could be doing in the situation. Yeah, the procedure with him went really well. He was... You know, we went to see him a couple of hours after he had the operation, and he looked fine. Like, you expect people to look really ill. He was on morphine. I've never seen him so fucking happy in his entire life. Morphine's great, apparently. I can see why it's so addictive, because he was so really quite happy. And he's normally quite grumpy. But whatever, when he gets home, he'll take it easy. Hopefully there won't be any more issues. Do you see a Planet-Sided Reader? Do you think you'll play it? I will check it out. I got into the early Alfrey thing of it. But Apex Legends is great. It's one of the best games I've played. It is... I love Titanfall. I love Titanfall 2. I kind of like-ish battle royales done right. And it's just super polished. And it's just really fun and quick. And doesn't make me a grumpy mother trucker. Yeah, we've got the RTV in about an hour and 15 minutes. So that will be live on Star Citizen on Twitch. So check that out. That is more to do with sound this week, though, I believe. But there might be some other cool bits and bobs that they mention and talk about. I'm not massively into sound. I love Pedro's music, though. I love you, Pedro. Pedro's doing some more ArcCorp ambience and background sounds at the moment, which will be cool. So I'm looking forward to see the soundscape for that. We also should be getting a Argo SRV Q&A today, along with that new concept sale coming out live to everyone. Did the 85X come with new livery? No, the 85X and the Cyclone RC did not come with any new Valentine's Day livery or livery, whatever you want to call it. Why does the Pledge store still, years later, have the original models of ships like the Freelancer 300, Love Your Face, Hope All as well? Because they're terrible at updating it. Like, terrible. They need one person just to make sure all their media that is constantly exposed to the public, is up to date. Why is that so difficult? I'm sorry to it's not. I look at it and just go, I could edit this. So that does need to be done. And I think once, because what they want is they want it to be all that info to be grabbed from their latest data. I will make a concerted push to CIG, or suggest at least, and I think if people want to get behind that and help upvote it or whatever when I post it, for them to, after 3.5 comes out, really keep on sort of like top of that ship matrix of data, where all ships are in their current level of production, all their latest stats and stuff, because it's sort of quite important to people, especially the people that are buying lots of ships, or interested in the game, or have a particular ship they love, or whatever, you know. I've just joined the stream. Just a quick one about the new Hornet HeartSeeker. Is there a donor ship for it, or do we get the ship with the loadout but without the skin? I don't know if there's a loaner. I'd assume the loaner would be the Super Hornet. The ship is going to be flyable with 3.5. The mother. Yes, indeed. Do I still plan to open up another Star Citizen wiki? What I'm probably going to do is, after my dad has recovered a little bit more in a few more days, I want to talk to the StarCitizen.tools guys, who do a very good wiki. I was chatting to them. They said to me, probably best not to open another wiki, because then just splitting resources. Why not come and help us do ours? So I'll talk to them about that and see if that's appropriate, and see if I'm actually providing them some help rather than just being a hindrance, and updating what I want to update there. However, I may start to focus on my website on ship meta and mission meta, because I think that's important guide-wise at the moment. So as soon as 3.5 comes out, I want to know ships backwards, weapons and items backwards, missions, and how to make money backwards, and that to be constantly updated, because that's one of the reasons I wanted to have the YouTube channel in the first place. What I wanted it to focus on Star Citizen anyway. It's become Star Citizen News, and I love doing that. But I also starting to get a game. We're going to have a game pretty soon that's going to be fully persistent, and that you're going to be keeping your money. So I just want that stuff to be up to date. What do you think the travel time between planets and traveling around planets will be? Maybe like 30 minutes or an hour to travel across a planet, and like 30 minutes to 12 hours to travel to planets. Are you talking about to circumnavigate them on the ground? Because that will take a long time. It was, 3 to 5 hours a race for the Daymar Rally for 300 kilometers, or 2 to 5 hours, I suppose. 5. So yeah, I mean, if you're circumnavigating them on the ground, it's going to vary depending on whether you're on a moon or if you're on a planet, and some planets are going to be massive and some planets are going to be relatively small. But if you're going on ship, you can do it a lot quicker. And if you're in high atmosphere, you can do it incredibly quick. If you're doing it in quantum drive, you can do it in seconds. Bored, do your parents ever watch your stream? Yes, my mother contributes a large amount of my views. When will the new Super Hornet be flight ready? 3.5. It's just a loadout for the Super Hornet though. New skin though as well. What date year do you think they are hoping to release the game? Asking for a friend. So they want Squadron 42 Episode 1 released in 2020 at the moment. And for Star Citizen's Persistent Universe, I mean, they're updating it every 3 months. It's going to be a while before it's something that we would deem an on-the-shelf released title. However, going to be a while. I think to actually have something released, a released product with all of the gameplay loops there and 10 to 30 systems in game, we are probably talking end of 2022 now, realistically. And that's optimistically as well. I'm doing fine, thank you very much. Did you find out when the Valentine's Day sale ends? No, I did not yet. I suspect we will find out today in Reverse the Verse, but it's probably going to be on the 4th of March now, because they sort of like do these things in batches. Raz, yeah, so the SRV should be able to quantum jump with a ship it's pulling. So the only way these mechanics can work, if you think about it just simply and logically, is that the Argo SRV has to have a quantum drive as standard. It has to be able to quantum travel and jump with that ship that it's pulling. Has to work like that. And they're selling them in packs. They're not saying what ships they need to be docked with or anything, so they can operate solo. They are one-person ships. But they work very well in groups. They work very well with mining operations and salvage operations and that sort of stuff. Think we will get a holodeck? No. The holograms in game aren't that advanced, if you see what I mean. Like, the holotech is cool for talking to people and to displaying maps and things, but it's not sort of like a fully rendered game, like in virtual reality type stuff. Although in the Squadron 42 demo, you did see sort of like some sort of like ghost recording or something of someone getting shot and falling over and going into their body. So like a crime scene, sort of like what's happened here. Thing. But that was still pretty basic. Yeah, I like the idea of this search and rescue ship. It's obviously going to be used by pirates a lot to grab ships that they've disabled. Things like that. I like the idea of ships being, especially with the physicalized components and times to kill changing so that ships don't have health pools. You will literally be disabling and destroying components. These ships are really, really important, and it makes part of the boarding, part of the sort of disabling those ships really important. Sunflare power plant, that's what I had. Thank you very much. When is the Argo SRV available, and when will the tractor beams even be available? Tractor beams are not on the roadmap currently, so I do not know. They've previously worked on tractor tech, though. I expect that it's not used in Squadron 42, and if it is, then it will be faked. The player won't be operating a tractor beam. But well, maybe that's not the case. So we don't know when that's going to be available. Tractor beam stuff. The SRV, it's going to be available on sale. Well, it's available on pre-sale now. It's going to be available properly on concept sale later today, and we don't know when it's going to be in game. I have a question. I use the 1070 Ti, and I keep getting kernel driver errors after the screen goes black and recover. My drivers are up to date, but I still keep getting it. I don't know. Is that specifically in Star Citizen you're getting that problem, or is it in general? Want to obviously make sure your drivers are up to date. Try reinstalling stuff. Try entirely cleaning the driver off and reinstalling. Are you getting a particular error, like an error code? Search that on Google. DC Deathcore is very good at diagnosing and fixing these problems. I, however, am very sort of like, I'll Google it. Is the F7A upgrade applicable on the HeartSeeker? When can we apply the F7A upgrade in general? That's a good question. I've actually asked someone to find out for me. I poked someone the other day at CIG talking about the F7A upgrade, because it was just supposed to be a skin, the F7A upgrade, and you could apply it to any Hornet, but I'm not sure what they're doing with it now. I suspect what they'll do with the F7A is they'll make it that upgrade, because it's very limited anyway. They'll make it just upgrade a Hornet to the F7A. That's what I'm expecting, but I don't know. It could just end up just being a skin. But I will find out. Take the basic Hornet and match the HeartSeeker guns, turrets, and core components. Is there any difference other than the skin? Yes. The basic Hornet is different from the Super Hornet. The Super Hornet has an extra seat in it. So that's the major one. But other than that, not much difference. Placed all the guns and core components. HeartSeeker will be flight ready in 3.5. Sounded like my boss when you said their website needs updating. It does! Does need updating. That specific thing for me. Mercury when? They're going to work on the Mercury Star Runner this year. Don't expect it to be flight ready or anything this year. It's going to be the first Crusader vehicle that they get ready, and then they're going to be working on the Hercules after that. I'm expecting to see it first quarter, second quarter of 2020. Do I know what they were reworking with the Cutlass Blue? No. Expect it to have a similar sort of level of work that the Cutlass Black did. Obviously, it's going to be more focused on its original role of being that more militia police craft. So probably a bit better in combat. And we're not sure if it's still going to have the cells or not, but we'll find out soon. That's supposed to be ready, was it Q4 of this year? The blue? Do you feel the new concept price is excessive for the size of the ship and the scale of the role it fulfills? Also, why was CIG so cryptic on the role it does and what you are getting? I don't think they've been cryptic about it. They've talked about it in the pre-sale. Back to being focused ship, or typically for SRV, search rescue vehicle. But do I think it's excessive pricing? Probably not with their new pricing scheme. They've sort of like raised the prices of stuff up a bit, haven't they, now with the new sales? So I don't think it's that expensive. I think it's well marketed. Lots of people will buy it. And from a capitalist point of view, it's probably pretty good price range. Not like it's $200 or anything. Has CIG said whether or not they might include a Dyson sphere in the universe, or maybe a Topolis? I'm not sure what that is. Topolis, which would be more manageable. I know what a Dyson sphere is. Well, they've got a manufactured planet, sort of. Although it did bankrupt a load of the UE finances. So yeah, we might see a Dyson sphere. Why not? Might see the start of the construction of a Dyson sphere, or an old one from like an ancient race. I've discovered that if you land on Tisa Spaceport, not inside the hangar but outside on the floor of the port near hangar, you see a lot of 2D fake textures. That is probably, you know, just them trying to save resources and stuff. The like cities and the tech leads that will get better and better, but also they'll save resources where they can. Yeah, 3.5 is releasing at the end of March. Yeah, the new way they're doing Star Citizen sort of like release schedules is every 3 months. They're just releasing a major patch. And they're going to do that until the game is on the shelf game. And then they're probably going to either revise the way they do that or just keep on doing that. Like, they want to support the game for years. And they want to keep on adding content. And they want to keep on having the game environment live and community influenced. So they might just do this throughout the entire lifespan of the project, throughout games release for 10 to 15 years longer. It's a shame that Eve is pretty much dead now. I really used to love Eve, and me and DC tried to get back into it recently, but PvP's not really there at all, and I like the risk reward in Eve for that. And hopefully CIG get a good balance of PvE and PvP. like Eve used to have. Because I don't want it to just be about giant scale battles. I want those small scale battles to be there. I want those skirmishes to be there. I want the risk of someone ganking me. As long as it's done right. Once Squadron 42 is out, in your opinion, how many resources from Squadron 42 will be allocated to Star Citizen, and how many will work on Squadron 42 Episode 2? Well, all the people doing the core tech for the game, they can be just generally improving networking stuff, persistent universe stuff. They don't need to work on Squadron 42 anymore, or much at all. So the Squadron 42 Episode 2 people will be working on mocap, cinematics, level design, things like that. They're building a mission pack, basically, for a game they've already got. I mean, obviously, it's going to be its own standalone game, but it'll be using that engine. It'll be using all of that same tech. And they might tweak some bits. They might have some bug fixes and things like that in there, but it's going to be a lot more resources going over to the persistent universe and general Star Citizen stuff. And they might, some people's contracts might end as well. After the Squadron 42 Episode 1's done, you might see like 50 plus staff get, not sacked, but you know what I mean, not have their contracts renewed or the contracts come to an end. Well, I was expecting anyway. If search and rescue workers fight over a job, would you call it an argument? That's good. That's good. I like that. The Sleep. I assume that's how you say your name. It's got a 3 in it. The Sleep. With the Hornet Heart Muncher on sale, I was reminded to ask, what do you think is going to happen to those with the F7A Veterans Day upgrade converted to CCUs? Forgotten? I talked about that a minute ago, but I will be finding out about that. I will poke my source. When do you think Star Citizen will have VR support? I think they've kept it in mind. I think we'll see it in Squadron 42 before we see it in the persistent universe in any way, shape, or form. And I suspect we'll see it like a good few months after the game's released. I don't think it will be supported natively at launch. Regarding leaving a ship, walking around and smoothly doing transitions while keeping immersion, I don't know how it's going to work. Because I suppose what they could do with the VR support is they could have it so you're always looking from your character's point of view, even during cinematic scenes. Because obviously it takes control of your camera in some cinematic scenes, so you're sort of like watching them from a slightly different angle. But you can cancel that and you can walk around from your point of view, so you're part of the scene. But with VR support, that would actually cause you to feel a bit motion sick, in my opinion. It will break your immersion, so you'd always want to look from your point of view. Yeah, Prospect has a tractor beam, Cutlass Black has a tractor beam, Caterpillar has a tractor beam, lots of ships have the tractor beams, and we're about to mount them on lots of ships as well. I've talked about that. Greg's in space, the pastry shop. One day I think we'll see some silly shops and silly food parlors and things. You know what the loaner ship will be for the SRV tow truck? I'm hoping it's a Cutlass Black. But it might just be an Argo. Just a cargo Argo or something. But I don't know yet. Thank you very much, Triton, for the bits. Thank you very much, Huntress, for the resub. Love your face. Sorry. What is the utility items in the HeartSeeker? So it's just the fixed gun mount for the size 4 weapon on the turret instead of the bull turret. I don't know when the HeartSeeker sale's going to end. Not yet. They'll probably tell us in our TV. I'm going to a tour of the Austin office soon. Any tips for getting the most out of office tour? Take a notebook. I'll ask as many questions as you want. Talk to the people that you're there with as well. It's good. It's a good social event. See if the devs want to come out afterwards for a drink or just ask. Ask your tour. Do the devs go out drinking anywhere afterwards? Because I'd love to go join them after office hours. And that's what I do when I go to the Winslow office. I make sure I go to the same pub they're going to and buy some of them a drink and chat to them. Because you get lots of interesting things that you can talk to about them there. When I say take a notebook, obviously you'll be under NDA for a lot of the stuff that you find there at the actual tour. But I mean, technically, you're not under NDA if you talk to people out of hours and that sort of stuff. But I mean, be sensible. Don't burn any bridges. Be respectful. But ask any questions you want. Make a big list of questions that you want to ask, and see if an appropriate dev or appropriate part of tour allows you to ask them. It's also worth checking out what disciplines they major in the Austin or whatever office you're going to visit, so that you're not making entirely irrelevant questions or going, oh, I was going to ask loads of game design questions, but it appears that they just do the networking here. Do you know what I mean? But whoever your tour guide is, which may well be some sort of like one of the community managers or someone like that, ask them as many questions as you want. So, and don't be afraid. When you're in like the Winslow tour, they sort of like ask you, is there anything in particular you'd like to see? And I just wait to see if anyone else says anything, and then I go, well, I'd quite like to see this. Yes, my dad is recovering the best he possibly could be. He's being released to come home today already. They are biopsying the cancer to see if it's spread. So that's the next thing we're waiting with. However, this would be a step anyway. It's good that we caught it early. Hopefully it's all dealt with and done. But we'll wait and see. Can we still get the F7A skin? No, it was a single day only on Veterans Day, I believe it was on sale for. And I think they regret doing that because they're not really sure what to do with it at the moment. Do you think the Argo SRV will be able to link up with the Cutlass and its tractor beams to carry bigger stuff? Oh, I didn't even consider other tractor beams that aren't Argo SRVs carrying bigger stuff. Yes, probably. That would make sense. How do you feel about the application of FOIP to the game? And about people who don't have cameras? Will they have a way to facially communicate? They might do it so it fully syncs with the lips and things like that, which I think they probably will do. So when you talk, your character will just lip sync, ish, or close enough. I think FOIP's pretty cool. Obviously not essential for the game, but it's something that they sort of developed at the same time. They want this game to be sort of like amazing and sort of like Second Life and a load of people's sandboxes and an escape for a lot of people, and for it to be massively mainstream and for this sort of stuff to people go, wow. They want wow at every level of Star Citizen. And FOIP adds to that wow effect, definitely. Like, oh my god, this is amazing. This is really cool. I think it's cool. I wish it worked a lot better than it does at the moment. I mean, it works perfectly fine locally, but I want it to work easily and simply when I'm just walking around. Yes, I love my community. I'm very lucky to have a respectful, engaged, not dickish community for the most part. And I think the Star Citizen community is typically, for the most part, actually surprisingly large for the state of the game and the project. But it's a pretty damn good community. I mean, you have some people that are, a percentage of any community is going to be dickheads. I think it's a pretty great community. I'm very happy to be part of it. Catching up on the stream, where did you hear they were going to be working on the Mercury this year? They said it in X. I don't know where I heard it, but I'm sure that is correct. I have to look through my notes. Why Hornet F7CM HeartSeeker don't have loanership? I suspect it will probably get a Super Hornet loanership by the weekend. When do you think we'll see server meshing back on the roadmap? Well, they're supporting parts of server meshing going on throughout 2019. So you are going to see bits of server meshing. And we could see server meshing, very early implementations of it or tests of it by the end of this year, if they get all the other stuff in the world in a perfect world, which is unlikely but possible. But we're going to see more people on servers first. We're going to see server optimizations first before we see server meshing back on the roadmap and fully implemented. Does your anxiety ever manifest as anger? Yes. If so, how do you keep calm and or keep from lashing out? So I'm very self-aware. So my anxiety and control issues typically come out in that if I don't understand something, I'll go for the most simple explanation for it, which in sort of like some computer games, if I feel something's unfair or unexplainable or whatever, I think they're cheating. And I'll go, the fucking hackers or whatever, even though they probably clearly weren't. And I can reflect on that later. It's just like, oh, I'm just being an idiot. But it's not sort of like really smash the fucking table anger. It's sort of like grumpiness and sort of like, for fuck's sake, for a second. But then I've immediately become self-aware, like, oh, yeah, sorry. It also comes out in the form of whining. So like Zin, DC, Cameron, people that play games with me, they have to deal with me whining. But that only happens sometimes and a lot more rarely now. I'm much more self-aware, much more able to keep calm. And some of that's because I don't want to let a team down. I play lots of team games. I play lots of games together as a group, and it's like I get anxious or worried or grumpy or whatever because I felt like I've let the team down from something. The more self-aware you are, the better you can manage it, I find. And so very small, brief moments of anger, which I then can either apologize for or just go, if you've got the right friends and stuff, they'll just be aware that you're an idiot. You can go, yeah, I'm an idiot, sorry. With the new Argo, Cutlass Red, Vulcan, and Apollo, can you imagine an endgame large capital size search and rescue ship doing bits of all of them? No. I can imagine, like, you've got the Endeavour Hope Hospital, and I can imagine it making use of some of those ships, and I can imagine a fleet being used to cover all of those things or cover bits of them better than other ships, and then you sort of like get all these ships working together. But I can't imagine a ship doing all of it. I mean, you could have a Kraken and outfit with all those different ships. You could have the Hope Endeavour Hospital and outfit them and have a little fleet that does all of that together. Thank for your answer. So HeartSeeker have less guns than the Super Hornet. Has less guns by number, yes. But it depends on what you want to load your ship out with, doesn't it? You can have smaller weapons, lots of them, or whatever, on the specialist turrets. And second person in the HeartSeeker have a role. Yes, so they would be managing systems in the ship. So you could have them doing the shields and doing the power and that sort of stuff. Good point, though, because they're effectively not controlling the turret in the same way. You could have them controlling all the weapons, though. All of them. Though, probably not the best idea with a fixed weapon with the pilot. Probably want the pilot to do that. Do you think the SRV will have any real search function or just recovery? I think it will be mostly recovery, but I think it will have reasonably good scanners to detect things. I think that ships will only be able to be tractor beamed if their like engines are off, or they're basically not preventing you from tractor beaming them. I think if someone doesn't want to be tractor beamed and they've got power or engines or whatever, they can break out of it easily. I'm expecting that's how it works. I think they've suggested that in the past as well. Do I know when the next free fly will be? No, I do not. Sorry. Probably around 3.5's launch, end of March. The ownership for the HeartSeeker is currently the Super Hornet. Great. Tested and verified. Thank you, Huntress. Very much appreciated. Huntress, I love you. Do you think Star Citizen could be the real-world version of the Oasis, a second life in the stars for a crumbling society? think Star Citizen is going to be a cool game, and I think it's going to be a great escape and sandbox game for a lot of people. More to come when we know more. Maybe to see the Herald rework finished before the Mercury Star Runner. Okay. Love you, Bob Mitch. Last time I visited the Austin studio after CitizenCon 2018, Mike Jones and Tyler Witkin ran the tour. So yeah, Tyler, absolutely great to ask questions too. They tend to be DevOps, network animation, some ship design, and if you're lucky, you might bump into Tony Z. Oh your god, yeah, you can ask a load of high-level questions about the economy and how the stuff's going to work and design and stuff from Tony Z. God. I've become a self-aware NPC. What profession are we getting this year? We're getting salvage towards the end of the year. We're getting more bounty hunting stuff. We're getting they're mostly focusing on the core stuff from Squadron 42 and bringing that over. That should mean that we have a billion times stable game and a lot of stuff in its final state. So the core stuff in its final state or near final state. With that, but we should see some other major gameplay that's not necessarily profession based this year. That's not just salvage. Will our interface differ based on our in-game character's abilities? Your down sight is better during gun battles if your character is more shooting focused. No, there are no skills or levels in Star Citizen from like a traditional RPG or MMO. It's all based on your own personal skill as the player. There's nothing you're leveling up. You can put gear and attachments on your guns. You can wear different armor. You can play in different styles, but it's all based on that. Your gear and you. So, we know we might get the Lynx exploration rover for the Carrack. Yes. That's the plan for the Carrack. It's supposed to come with one. Are there possibilities of small exploration shuttles instead of the Merlin? Yes. The Lynx. And the Pisces coming with the Carrack as well. That's going to be a small exploration shuttle or scout shuttle. I have to hit my top of my head to remember things. What happened to the Constellation Taurus? I was looking forward to flying my largest ship. I don't know. I thought it was almost ready. Maybe it will be a surprise in 3.5 or 3.6. But I'm not sure why it's off the roadmap. Yeah, what I remember was the RTV in December. They said merch would be first, and the Hercules and Genesis. That's the Mercury Star Runner, and the Hercules and Genesis would be worked on simultaneously, and they wouldn't start work, and work wouldn't start in 2019. I think that the Mercury Star Runner was supposed to start in 2019, wasn't it? What kind of ship would I like to see as a new concept? I would like to see a ship to build other structures other than outposts, just like defense turrets and things. I would like to see a mine layer. I would like to see a ship that potentially builds space station modules, so you can build space stations. I would like to see lots of different ground vehicles as well, like military ground vehicles, APCs, a light tank. Likelihood of Carrack getting pushed back or moved up. I don't 100% know, obviously, as with anything I say, pretty much. But the new roadmap scheduling is supposed to be less aggressive so that they, with a very high level of confidence, can get what they've said in on time. Some of it might get pushed up. Good. I mean, some stuff might still get pushed back. But they want to also add more into the roadmaps, if possible. Why did my comment didn't show up on screen? What offended? I don't know. It didn't show up on screen. I'm not controlling that. I can see this comment. So if it was auto-removed, it was auto-removed. Because, I don't know. I'll have a look through the log later. But no one has manually removed that, because it's not on my admin board. Why weren't you featured in the Red Bull Star Citizen video? Because I don't think I was on that particular show that they highlighted. I was on the variant of it before, twice, and some of the other ones before, but I was in Citizens of the Stars, but not in the other one, or not the other one, but the other one. Do you know what I mean? They had Citizens of the Stars, and they had another version of that, and I was in one of those, but not the one that they showed. I was in a different series. Because I was like, huh, well, it's fine. Just have Noobifier as your poster boy if you want. Lucky Noob. Love you, Noob. You know I love you. I've heard you will still be able to have NPC crew and they will be able to get better with experience. How do you think NPC leveling will look? I think that they will just get better stats the longer they do something, and then those stats will degrade if they don't rest. But I think the more they do something, they'll sort of like stats will go up to a certain level and sort of like stay there and peak. Some NPCs might have a higher level potential for some of their stats, but you won't sort of like be able to see that. It won't be exposed to you as raw numbers or anything. To buy the Argo SRV as an LTI token and upgrade it to a Carrack, which I would like to buy on the next sale. That's a perfectly good way of getting a lifetime insurance token. BoredGamer, they never actually mentioned when the Mercury is supposed to start. Okay, that's I wouldn't expect the Mercury for 2019. I would have expected them to start work on the Mercury by the end of 2019, but I'm not expecting it to be flyable in 2019. Okay. That might be a bit of a confusion in my brain. I thought they said that the Mercury was going to start production in 2019. I may have misunderstood or just be entirely mistaken. Are there any ground vehicles planned which will include a bed? Not that I'm aware of yet. But that makes sense that maybe some are. Have they said anything about a player-built bases beyond planetary above-ground bases? Player-built space stations, asteroid bases, hollowed out asteroids by players, underground bases? Not really. Not player-constructed things. They've only talked about the building of outposts with the Pioneer and some other things that we'll be able to build or bring to those outposts that potentially the Pioneer doesn't build. So I'm not sure if they're just going to be pre-packaged or you literally need to tractor beam them there or just take them in the cargo ship. These will be things like little tiny mining things or defense turrets of some description. But beyond that, we don't really know if we're going to be able to have underground hangars, if we're going to be able to have the underground bunkers and things that we've seen in Hurston. But I'd like to. I think that's a great thing if they can do it. I suspect we will have that eventually. We'll have a lot more expansive base design. I'm just not sure when. Like 10 years' time. What are thoughts on CIG making ships look the same and not having unique style side like the past? Different interior colors. For example, Misk and the Freelancers looked cool, but now they're the same. Also, Reliant is getting the boring look too. The Mr. J, I think we're going to see some new stuff in the way that ships are customized, painted, and some internal differences soon that we'll be able to customize those ships ourselves to quite a good level. So it doesn't matter if they all look exactly the same inside because you'll be able to express yourself and have different interiors anyway. They're doing some stuff with 3.5 and the 300 rework to expose some customization pre-purchase of ships on the website in the 300 series. So I don't know to what extent that's going to be. And with interiors, we know we're going to be able to change furniture. We know we're going to obviously be able to just place things around. My expectation is that we'll have some interior colours and skin variation for certain rooms, like modular stuff, but we don't know for sure yet. So this has been asked a little off. John Crew mentioned the SRV as the entry ship to search and rescue gameplay. Do you think we'll see more advanced search and rescue ships? I think the Vulcan is search and rescue. I think we will see larger ships that might be able to do search and rescue, like maybe Caterpillar with modules. Maybe there will be ships that maybe the Endeavour can have some extra tractor beams put on there, and you could just fly it around as like the Hope ship variant that also does direct search and rescue. I think it's a core and key component in the search and rescue gameplay if you want to tow ships and grab things. I think it would probably work really well with an Apollo and really well with a Vulcan, all of them flying around together after a big battle to try and rescue people, to try and salvage bits. It would probably work incredibly well with a Reclaimer or an Orion. Big CitizenCon reveal thoughts. I don't know. We could see stuff like Microtech. We could see jump points. We could see some Squadron 42 stuff, because obviously Squadron 42, they want to get released in 2020. Animals, aliens, lots of cool stuff they could do. I just not sure what they're going to do. They might have some. They'll probably show off some of the 3.7 gameplay, because 3.7 will go live at around CitizenCon, so they'll show off some of that. They'll probably show off some of the 3.8 gameplay they've sort of like starting to get in. Probably Titan suits go on sale. Probably see some fights with Titan suits, things like that. Based on your comment on customization, will skins for ships be reasonably easy to get? So I could fly MISC ships without staring at bare stainless steel. I believe the way they want to do exterior customization is that you will be able to paint your ships in basic colors. We've seen that a while ago. They showed sort of like them painting on a saber, lots of different colors, bam, bam, bam. So basic stuff like that. And I believe that's going to be available in game, and you'll be able to pay UEC to get your ship color changed. The more complex skins, I expect they will have a mixture of purchasable in game and potentially on sale on the website if they're really in depth. They need to get artists specifically in to do them. And I think that's a good idea for funding the game. Thanks for still doing videos where your dad's recovering. What else would I be doing? I'll be visiting him in hospital while he's grumpy and he doesn't really want me there. He's coming home today, so I've got food ready for him. Got the house clean and tidy. Haven't done the dishes, which I'll do in a minute, actually. But there's not much I can do other than work. Work, play games, and catch up on admin. Catch up on my accounts and things like that. It's... You don't... I mean, I appreciate that you appreciate it, but I mean, hopefully my dad appreciates it more. Oh, you see, you mean generally just working. Yeah, I mean, I directly get paid by the amount of people that donate and watch my stuff, so I need to keep on working. It's ridiculous for me to not work, because otherwise I'll just be like, oh, well, I'm planning to employ Zinnia at the end of April, so I need to make sure the channel is doing well and it gets into a sort of like routine for stuff. I will be able to do probably over twice the amount of work when Zin's working for me, so that means I can have scheduled videos, make the channel a lot better. She's really fucking good at art and doing graphics and stuff, but also she's just starting to get into video editing now and learning it while she's at her current job, which is great. And we'll be able to stream a load more, and we'll be able to get some much better videos and in-game shots and stuff in Star Citizen, and be able to organise a lot more, and actually get the board game organisation and Nomad Black all up and running. People will be able to play with us during the days and things like that without me going, well, I'm sorry, I'm working. So, yeah, that should be great. But yeah, working is how I manage my anxiety and depression. And I like being... So between the Spectrum questions answered about gas clouds, it's still unclear to me, is it specifically gone from the roadmap because it won't make it into 3.6, or is it going to make it? It's to be implemented in Squadron 42, and then they will make use of it as appropriate in Star Citizen. But it's not specifically on the roadmap because we might not see it, I suppose, until they make those areas. But they can have the, as it's in Squadron 42, they can have it, start to have it in the persistent universe as areas of interest. It wasn't going to be used for weather or cloud stuff in atmosphere. and it is a few steps before they have Crusader, Gas Cloud Attack, and Orison. Is it true that we'll soon be able to buy better components for our ships on the RSI store with cash? I don't know. Potentially with 3.5 and 300i release, re-release, they might have a way that you can pre-customize your ship with other components and color and stuff before you buy. But I think everything's going to be available in game at some point. Components and stuff are available in game anyway, so I appreciate all the love. Thank you so much. That's very much appreciated. Yeah, I hope my dad is now done with it, like done with all the bullshit with needing operations or anything. Hey Bored, if you or any of the community here like the HeartSeeker's nose art, as an illustrator graphic designer, I feel it's my duty to recommend the artist Gil Elfgren. Okay, feel free to link me that. I'll have a look at it later. The SRV doesn't have any weapons with it. Oh yeah, suppose it doesn't. Has CIG finally realised that not every ship should or need to have weapons? Yeah, it's a good idea actually. Like if they just dedicate all of its power to its engines, quantum drive, and tractor, so that it can grab, because one of the things it's supposed to do is hot evac ships. So it goes, come in, grab a ship, and just get out. I like that idea. Doesn't want to fight. Doesn't need to fight. I'd mind the dedication. If I had to dedicate that kind of time to making more videos, I would absolutely hate it. I love what I do. I love researching Star Citizen. I love reading and watching other people's comments and videos and reading up on the Reddit. It's what I do with my spare time anyway, if I wasn't creating content on Star Citizen. So it's great that I can roll that into something I love. 3.5, will the Reliant be able to fly fast in horizontal mode? Don't know. Maybe in atmosphere. Probably in atmosphere it will. Jag, no worries, I'll see you later. Hey Bored, with the SRV in concept and it being a fairly small ship in the grand scheme of things, it's very small. Do you think we're likely to see a larger ship with a similar function in the future, like a Prospector compared to the Orion? I mean, we might see a medium version or a large version of the ship, or we might just see modules for other ships to be able to use tractor beams on the same sort of scale. Do you think I can fly alone in the 890 jump and do VIP transport missions without any other player or NPC on the bridge? Yes, but your degree of success may vary, especially if you get attacked or you get quantum jammed or something. Like, you won't be able to manage that ship particularly effectively just yourself with no other help. You might be able to get AI modules to literally control some of the turrets to give you a bit of cover. You might be able to obviously hire escorts. You'll be able to hire escorts if you want. I wouldn't recommend running a large ship regularly with no crew other than yourself. Do you think the Reliant will be getting... Because, I mean, like, components might blow and just degrade, or you might have a short, and you would have to get off the bridge and run to an area to fix, like, a junction box or something, or a subcomponent. Do you think the Reliant will be getting an SCU buff? Yes, I do. They're reworking the interior section, aren't they? So, probably. But not a huge one. No. It's supposed to be starter tier ship, almost second tier starter. However, I still think the Avenger Titan's going to be sort of like sweet spot. Is there anything else I wanted to talk about? Look at the Argo SRV, that we shall get some more information on that later. I've got BrezenCon on the 27th of April, if anyone wants to go to that. It's in Manchester this year on the 27th of April. I will be there. Check it out. Pretty cool. There'll be devs and stuff there, loads of devs, lots of cool things. Special Effect are going to be there, the charity, JR Design and Fabrication are going to be there. JR Fabrication, bam. They make cool props for Star Citizen, officially sort of licensed props. They made the big old Saber Raven, and I think they're going to start to make ship models as well. So the Saber Raven they made. Dragonfly, they might want that. I want the Dragonfly. I think they're going to be making models of ships and things in the future. But yeah, check out BrizenCon. Should be cool. Hammond's newsletter was just about the Argo pre-sale. Like tractor beam pad that generates the tractor beam, which is quite cool. Looks like a little bit like a gas hob. Looks very much like a gas hob. In fact, I suspect that might be one of the places they got inspiration from. Very cool looking ship. Last week's newsletter. Helmets. Got Valentine's Day sale, which is still on, which I don't know when it's going to end. HeartSeeker. Really like the feeling Hornet, the little love sweet Valentine's Day thing in pictures. That's really cool, actually. Save that bad boy. HeartSeeker's cool. I might upgrade my Super Hornet to one. In fact, I probably will because I think it's quite a cool BM skin. Argo SRV, we'll see some more about it later today. Looking forward to the Q&A on that. But I'll get a ship buyer's guide up on that straight away. Roadmap there. Reddit. We saw a little cool. So they're going to be adding traffic to feel and look of ArcCorp in 3.5. Obviously, this is incredibly basic. It's sort of like to simulate there's SimCity-esque traffic going on the streets, and I suspect we'll get it more and more advanced as we go on, and we'll probably actually see some physicalized traffic on some roads that are appropriate in the future. Cool, just to add cool little traffic pathways. Monthly reports out. That was pretty cool. Game Glass. They've made almost $78,000. They only wanted $5,000 on their product. How long's left on their thing? 11 days left. Game Glass is basically a free program that will allow you to make touchscreen devices into physical MFDs for your ship, so you can do lots of controls from them. Blah, 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 blah. It's also going to have a subscription service and extra functionality and features in the future, which you can purchase or subscribe to or whatever. But the basic Star Citizen experience, they're going to continue to support, and it will be free. But there are some, like if you wanted help with mining or medical or tractor beam gameplay or something like that, they might make some shards for that. They're going to continue to support it. So check that out if you're interested. But it will be entirely available for free, or a free version of it, which probably will be appropriate for most people. Dev track, anything interesting? Reverse the Verse is going to get going live in about 15 minutes, so we will wrap up here. We'll answer the last few questions. Please check out my website if you're interested in seeing any of my videos done as articles. Also with all like the source links and everything for the videos. Also here I've got a variety of guides for Star Citizen, including like how to set up Windows 10 for the best possible performance, and Star Citizen for the best possible performance, and user.cfg guides such as they are at the moment. Hopefully we'll be able to get some more features into them. But it's got lots of different stuff here, and how you can support the channel, and I update it as regularly as I can, which is typically every 24 to 48 hours. It also has links to the SoundCloud and stuff like that. So I do run podcasts of all of the videos that I do. I cut them down into podcast form for people as requested. There is a Subscribe Star as well as Patreon that people can support you on, as well as direct donations if you are so inclined to do so. I am doing some Apex Legends content on the second channel, and is BoredGamer Legends. You can see it on my channel on the side, on the right. There's another channel, but it will include gameplay and patch notes at the moment. That's what I'm going to do for Apex Legends. Nice and simple, not affecting the rest of my content on my my Star Citizen channel, because I don't have time to do both at the moment. But when Zin's around, then I will have a lot more time to do more Star Citizen content, more Star Citizen streams, lots of gameplay stuff, and organised events, and a little bit of Apex Legends on my second channel. I love it. I really enjoy Apex Legends. It's free as well. Hashtag shill. Wish they'd pay me to shill. Wish Star Citizen would pay me to shill. Come on. Come on, guys. Give me some monies. Else that I wanted to talk about? No, I'm quite excited about the Argo SRV and what we're going to get from there. Yeah. What do we got? What do we got question-wise? Will the Argo be able to tow large capital ships out of planet or moon's gravity? It might be able to help with that. I'm interested to know if it can aid engines and aid ships getting out of gravity. They're almost there, but need a little bit more oomph. I suppose what we need to know is how many Argo SRVs can work together, and what is the largest ship that however many can get out. If it's as many as you want to can work together, and they each allow for a certain amount of mass each to move, then yes, you'd eventually be able to move with enough of them the Super Dreadnought or whatever. Redemption, isn't it? The Super Dreadnoughts. What's your take on the 300 series rework? Do you know if they're going to see any other lineups? 400s, 500s? No, I don't know if we're going to see any like other particular numbered lineups from Origin. Not in the mid-term anyway. I suspect we'll see a lot of ships get the same sort of customization in the medium term that the 300 series is going to have. I like the rework they're doing with it. We're not going to see ships get that sort of rework anymore. Most of the ships they've got in game now, they're sort of like, they'll get light updates, they'll get materials updates, they might get some tweaks, they might get some lighting tweaks, things like that, animation tweaks and things, but we're unlikely to see heavy reworks of them. Have you ever written or created an absolute no-go list of things RSI/Ad Imperium just cannot do and remain a decent company in your eyes? The basic don't be evil creed. I don't think they're at the level to be able to become evil. They can look greedy and stupid sometimes, less and less so the more they're developing. They're trying to obviously manage their profile so they don't do stupid stuff. They don't sell land claims. They don't have a referral competition that is has the pretense that anyone can win, which is just content creators and grey market sellers can win. So, I mean, there's lots of stuff they can't do. They can't go around murdering children, things like that. There's a lot of stuff on that list. I'm not a shill for CIG or Star Citizen. I love the project. I love the game. I have a vested interest in covering the news for the game. My channel is based on Star Citizen. I want the game to succeed. That is true, but I'll cover the game. I'll cover the news. If I see something I don't like, I will say it. But I'll cover it in a news form and then talk about my personal take on it. And people can make their own opinions on that. No kicking cats either. If you could have any manufacturer make a ship to compete with the Carrack, what would it be and why? Drake. I love Drake as a company. They make ships so that they are they do what they say on the tin, and they just do that focus, and they do them as cheaply as possible. I want some Drake battleships, some proper, like a Drake corvette. I'd like an Anvil, a drone corvette as well at some point. That would be cool. But I mean, that's Carrack. I mean, that's what the Corsair might become. Like, I was thinking that they said previously that the Corsair was going to be Drake's version of a constellation, potentially like more leaning towards the constellation Aquila. What if they do it so that it's more leaning towards the Carrack, something like that? So maybe we'll see Drake Corsair this year. Maybe it will be something more like that, a bit more modular. Will the Argo be able to go through quantum travel if it's attached to a ship with a working quantum drive. I believe so. I think if the attached ship tries to do anything, that they will just break off from being tractor beams. Yeah, so the Argo SRV will be great for stealing or recovering ships. When will they add Hurston and Moons to my radar? I can ask them if they can give me any information on that, because I suspect they are still continuing to support Star Citizen. The CEO, I believe, is really, really into the game. He loves it. You think we'll have a even bigger luxury ship from Origin after the 890 jump? No. That would be the biggest luxury space yacht thing. Can you use multiple Argo SRVs to steal a ship? I think that the ship that you are trying to pick up has to at least not resist you picking it up. So if it's got engines, you can break away from it. I think that's what sort of like the intention they had for it. But you can certainly, if a ship is disabled, you'll be able to grab ships. And we'll find out more of that, and that'll be more confirmed. That's a bit of my I reckon, but I'm pretty sure. How's it going across bronze? It's all right. I mean, Brexit's pretty soon, so probably not going to be all right for much longer. Let's see what happens. But it's all right. It's doing all right here. I'm waiting for my dad to come home. He'll be home, I think, by 7, so in about an hour. The RTV is just about to start. Does anyone have any last couple of questions before I leave you and leave you with the RTV? Do the stats from the Phoenix, they changed to match the idea of the superior constellation? Yes. The stats and hard points and things like that will change for some of the ships. The Phoenix is intended to be that very top tier constellation, very luxury, lots of high grade components. So it should change with them. Oh, Jade, fantastic. Yeah, got a pre-release of my radar app with Hurston and its moons. It's coming soon. Great. That sounds awesome. I will check with them and see if I can get a thing on that and see if I can start talking about it. I'm relatively friendly with them. What are you most hyped for about 3.5? It's a bit of ArcCorp. Really looking forward to ArcCorp, but it's the flight model, the new flight model, because then that means I can start to play Star Citizen for a few hours a day during the day as part of my sort of like schedule to understand the flight model to get good at it. And I feel that my skills will be transferable. And we just need to see how that core gameplay is going to perform. I've been looking forward for it to ages, for ages and ages. We've just needed it for so long. Will the SRV work well with the Endeavour? Depending on how you set up your Endeavour, because the Endeavour is incredibly modular. Yeah, if you set it up as a search and rescue Hope Hospital or something like that, then almost certainly. I think RTV's just on Twitch at the moment. I will poke CIG about that as well. I've got some suggestions for them. You watch RTV live on YouTube? Oh, it can be watched on YouTube as well. I literally did not know that. I've always watched on Twitch. I am going to link to the Twitch though. Let's get this bad boy up. But thank you so much for watching, guys. Thank you very much for all the kind words. It really does mean a lot. Means a lot to my mother and a bit to my father. He's like, oh, that's nice. Well, he was saying they wish me well. It's like, yeah, they do. It's good. Positive energy. So I do genuinely appreciate that. It's made my mother feel a lot better as well. My mum was sort of like going through the phases of grief far too prematurely, because on the day that he had his operation, they kept us waiting another 5 hours longer than we expected to hear anything. So my mum just assumed the worst, because your brain hates you, doesn't it? Those sort of things. I would say it's tough, but it's just a brute fact. Happened, and we dealt with it. And that's what you've got to do with pretty much everything in life, I think. Pretty good advice. Thank you very much for all the kind words, and thank you very much for all the love. It's very much appreciated. If you want to get through to me at any time, contact@boredgamer.co.uk. You can email me there. You can poke me on the Discord. I will try and answer everyone's question and get back to you. If you want me to come to an event, if you're running like an op, that you want me to record, say hi to, or whatever, please feel free to poke me. Worst I can say is no, or I'm busy or whatever. But I love you guys. Thanks so much. Take care. And I'll catch you sometime in the verse, probably. Bam. Bam. That's. Love you guys. Peace. Boom. Boom.